Welcome back to the Slushy in Film podcast on both YouTube and Spotify. Thank you so much for being here today. And I have a special guest with me today. My wife, Hannah, is joining me. So claps
Hello.
for Hannah.
Thank
And
you.
we are going to discuss the new Wuthering Heights movie that we just got out of like 2 hours ago from recording this. And we're going to give everybody our top 5 romantic movies because we are recording this on Valentine's Day. So let's roll. All right, before we dive into the Wuthering Heights movie, because that's what we're going to start with, pretty much initial review, reaction, all that fun stuff, because we just got out of this like 2 hours ago. So before we dive into that, though, thank you for watching, listening, however you are getting the Slushy and Film podcast has been amazing. The TikTok page has been amazing. In fact, we've even gotten some of our first comments on the YouTube channel as well, which is awesome. Of course, this all started on Spotify, and this is actually episode number 17 of the show. So that's really
Wow.
fun. And it's all Valentine's Day related. So we just saw Wuthering Heights, like I said, starring Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. And I'm sure Hannah has plenty of thoughts just based on her reaction alone in that movie. But before we dive into that, I'm just going to give a quick plot on the movie. And then we're going to jump into our initial thoughts and do some brief positive and negatives before we talk about our top 5 films. So if you don't know what this movie is, this is based on a book. Never read the book. I think the book's really old. But essentially, tragedy strikes when Heathcliff, which is Jacob Elordi's character, falls in love with Catherine Earnshaw, which is Margot Robbie. And she is a woman from a wealthy family in 18th Ventura, England. So yeah, I don't get me wrong. I was not like super pumped to be going to this film, but for Valentine's Day, I felt like it was appropriate that we did see this. And I did say Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie are obviously like the two big characters in this film, and it's directed by Emerald Fennell, which she actually directed Saltburn a couple years ago. If anybody got a chance to see that, I actually did not catch on that Jacob Elordi is also in that film as well.
Oh yeah.
So let's do our initial thoughts. So Hannah, I'll let you lead with your initial thoughts. Like what we just left the films. Like where's your head at?
Yeah. I mean, the two words I can think to describe it are beautiful and tragic. I was expecting the beauty to an extent. It exceeded expectations, and the tragedy I was not expecting at all. Um, yeah, I'm an emotional wreck.
It's yeah. You were an emotional wreck, and but also I think that whole theater was an emotional wreck, and it was a full theater, which is awesome. I feel like going into that film,
Hmm.
neither of us. I mean, we knew it was a romance just based on the way that everybody was advertising it, but I don't think either of us really had a clue what was going to happen in that movie.
No, I really just thought it'd be like that typical plot of like she is from a wealthy family and has to like marry for love or money and kind of make that choice. And I'd say I was right on a very basic surface level, but it goes so far beyond that.
It does because, like, I mean, without giving like any major spoilers, like about halfway through the film, I think it's everything's happening, and I feel like that the audience wants to happen, and like about halfway in the film, maybe 3/4 way through the film,
Yeah.
and sitting there, I was like, what are we gonna get? Like, what is this last portion of the film? Because there's no way this is the final act. Like, it doesn't feel like a final act of the film.
Yeah.
So then we got what we got, and we won't spoil any of it. But that's where the let's just say the tragedy piece comes into play, and I frankly went into that movie thinking I'm here because I love going to the movies and I'm always open minded. But I can't lie, like I definitely didn't think that was going to be like something that I'd care for, and I didn't see any of the rating numbers, anything like that going into the movie either on purpose.
Hmm.
And I left and shoot, it's better than I thought it was going to be. I'm glad it wasn't just like a raunchy romance film that's just surface level
Yeah.
because I
I
don't,
loved it.
yeah, because I just don't like care about that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So to have like all the story they had, and from what I saw, it's different from the book. like in aspects, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say I love to read, but I have not read that, and I honestly don't know if I care to at this point.
No, I won't read. No way I'd read that. But I know people like in our families have read that book and
Yeah.
have said that they enjoy that book. So it is interesting. I feel like it makes total sense. It came out when it has on
Hmm.
the 13th of February. I also don't think it's again, it's not your everyday romantic movie. Like there is the romance piece and it's hot and heavy, but like it's definitely not, you know, that happy ending stuff that we expect romantic films to be like nowadays.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, to be fair, I kind of appreciated because everybody does that stuff nowadays. And I was like, it's okay to not have a movie end like that,
Hmm.
where you end all like happy go lucky and that's that. And like, not that the ending of this one was fun,
No, it was horrible.
but
Like
it
tragic.
was yeah, not yeah, it
It was
was
a good. They did it well. It was horrible emotionally.
right. So, but I mean, yeah, overall thoughts. I was trying to think of a rating with the system that your dad and I do, and I don't know yet. I would say it's probably somewhere in like the 7.6 to 7.9 range if I had to put a number
I
on
was
it.
gonna say like 8.5 for
There you
me.
go.
So
So
I loved it.
you did. I mean, that's, and we'll get into the positives here in a second, and like the negatives as well. Like I like to start with negatives and just knock them out of the way
Yeah.
because
And on a high
I
note.
don't like being negative about film because I know how much like time, effort, all that fun stuff goes into making a movie. Now, granted, people who have listened to this podcast know like I hated the Jurassic Park movie last year, and I've ripped on that like in every podcast I've had a chance to, as I do it here. This is not like that, and so like I can appreciate a lot of the work that went into this film. So let's start with negatives, and we'll kick the negatives out. Like
Okay.
I'd say I would say I have about two or three like I guess negatives. One pretty big negative. And then I have a second negative that I thought about just as we were sitting here. Do you
Okay.
want to go for? You want me to go?
Yeah, go ahead.
My biggest negative is when Heathcliff leaves.
Hmm.
We jump time a lot, and they tell us we're jumping time.
They
Like
do.
vocally, they tell us.
Well, and they jump through. It's like Christmas after
Yeah,
Christmas, and the house changes with that.
yeah. And I think my biggest problem with it was he leaves, and we don't feel the extent to him being like we don't feel that extent of him leaving. Like he's gone, and I feel like it's pretty quick within film time that he's back in the picture. And I don't think it has the same. Not that he's a big actor and a big character, so he's not going to be gone for a substantial portion of that movie. But I did feel like him not being there for as long as he was, it was just not long enough. And he came back, so I don't feel like, at least I didn't feel the effect of I like their relationship. I don't know how to explain that, but him coming back when he did, it didn't have the same impact I think that it should have had. And that's all just like the film. That like that's just all the editing and the work that they did. Like to me there wasn't enough time for the film in between when he left and when he went away. And then that's what,
Well, you
five
just said
years?
when he left and we came back.
Yeah, when he left and then when he came back. And what's that, like 5 years
Hmm.
within the story? I don't know.
I would say I would have agreed with you if the storyline was what I thought it was going to be, but the fact that it goes way further than what I thought it was going to be, I think they had a lot to cover once he came
Totally.
back. So I understand why it was done like that. And for me, I don't know, I could feel like her being in her marriage and stuff like that. So I
I,
felt like the timeline, I can see where you're coming from, but I don't think it bothered me much.
man. And again, like I don't think it's for me that would probably be my biggest issue, but I would not sit here and say it's a major issue.
Yeah.
Like it was something that I thought just didn't, for me personally, have the same impact that it probably should have had in that moment. And a part of that is when she sees him for the first time after all those years. That whole scene is in the trailer
Mm.
when she sees him.
Hmm.
So in the trailer, you're thinking that scene is like got to be one of the biggest scenes in the movie, just kind of based on the way they made it feel in in the trailer. And I felt like it kind of fell flat in that moment. And some of that also I think had to do with her like the reactions to each other when they saw each other.
But I think it makes sense with how things ended.
Yes, I do too. I didn't feel like, and I know that we weren't at like this romantic place yet for them,
Uh-huh.
but it almost felt like it was two friends seeing each other for the first time in 5 years, and they just like hugged it out, and then they kind of went back into their thing, and then then this romantic piece to the story really kicked into full gear, and I guess maybe that's could arguably be another negative if people look at it like that. I mean, the romantic piece they kind of touch on it, but it takes probably halfway through the film to really kick that romantic piece between the two characters into gear, or does it not?
I don't know. As a romance lover, I love a good build up,
Yeah.
and I love like childhood friends to lovers, and I think that's evident in my some of my list picks for later. I love the whole like besties in childhood developing into something more. I also think Margot Robbie's role in it as a woman in that time period is very complex because of where her life is when he comes back into the picture.
Fair.
So I think as a woman, I don't want to give anything else away, but there's only so much she can do
Hmm.
at that time.
Right. I mean, yeah, especially in that time period, right? Like she has a role and a responsibility and all that
Yeah.
stuff. So like, I get it. I just feel like the time it was just that was just maybe that's a me problem, right? Like maybe that's a me problem. So
I'm sure other people would agree with you.
yeah,
I think for me, I was just so excited to see them back
him
on
come
screen
back,
together.
yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't think anything of it.
Well, he's like an imposing figure on screen. Like it, I mean, he's not unnoticeable. Like he's a very tall, built man,
Hmm.
and so like he towers over all the characters in that film. And a lot of the camera work that the director does is to make it feel that even more like that. Like the camera's over almost never. It may never be at his eye level. It's always lower,
Yeah,
always
he's
looking
looking
up at
down.
him, and he's
Yeah.
looking down at you, or not at the camera, but just to the side of it. And I mean, that's every time he's on screen. I think it's almost like that.
One of my favorite, this is not a spoiler, but there's one scene towards the first half of the movie where he picks Margot Robbie up by
Oh,
like her
jeez.
corset.
I was like every girl in this theater is
And
gonna
I
be
was like, oh my gosh. But it plays on how small she is
yeah.
compared to him.
I can't imagine. Yeah, that happened early in the film when I thought every girl in this theater right now has got to be just gushing over this moment.
And when he holds the rein out
And
of
when he
her
holds it,
eyes for her.
Margot Robbie mentioned that in like an interview,
Yeah.
how she just like that was not scripted, and he just did it,
I mean, it's
and she like
perfect.
didn't know how to respond in the moment because she was just like head over heels, like my god, what is this?
I mean, it's so cute. It shows how well they like
Yeah.
know each other too, you know?
Hmm. Do you have any like big negatives?
I'd say I can't spoil anything, but the way Jacob Elordi's character treats the other woman in the second half of the show was just like odd.
I was going to ask you about that in general
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
because
I
that
thought
was
it was
probably
kind
my
of
other negative too.
like it was just kind of gross.
But like that girl was almost kind of along with it.
Yeah, I mean, she consented to everything. And again, I
Yeah.
don't want to spoil anything, but she as a character was just really weird anyways.
Yeah.
She was my biggest negative,
Yeah, I
and
would
I
agree.
think them in scenes together was
It was interesting.
yeah.
Yeah. I
That's
didn't,
I don't know.
I
I
mean,
don't even know how to
he was
describe
just trying.
how I
I mean,
feel.
I know we get the point of him trying to make her jealous, right? As in Margot Robbie's character, Kathy. But like, yeah, and I think the like consent piece of like that was obviously on purpose because they wanted to make sure that like from an audience perspective, like this is not.
Well, because if they hadn't, I mean,
I mean, it
it's
would have been
seriously messed up.
yeah, right. And so, but then there were scenes like later on with those two where it was like, is she like in on this like rodeo that they're doing
I
here to
think
try to
she
make
just
her
wants what
jealous?
she can get.
Yeah, and so I would agree. I thought that was it was a little confusing at the same time, kind of like we get the point of it, but I
Hmm.
think maybe they did a little bit too much with that.
I think I need to see it again to get like a full, like a better understanding of how I feel with
Yeah,
it.
honestly, the only other, I guess, negative you could say for me was the oh god, I don't even know what her name is. Her like maid, Margot Robbie's maid,
Yeah.
or her
Her name's like
whatever,
Nancy or
Nancy
something.
or whatever her name is.
Millie, Nancy, something.
She was her motives made sense because of when we had the scenes of the childhood.
Hmm.
So the motives make sense. I just felt like her as a character was, I don't know, something was off with her as a character, and like there were times like her and Margot Robbie never got along, but she was always her like maid and her
Yeah.
helper, and like then she gets tries to get rid of her, but then her husband's like, no, you have to stay, but we don't actually see that. That's just what she says. And the whole movie, like especially in the back half, we learned that like the maid is, pretty much trying to ruin Margot Robbie's love life and not let her be with
Well, yeah, I
Heathcliff
mean,
because
they just
she's
don't.
jealous because she wants that friendship that she had before he was in the picture.
Yeah, she just has a lot of hate in her heart, and I think that is, I mean, she's a driving force in the movie, like behind the scenes, so I think she's necessary.
No, I think she's necessary too. I just think there were times where she really got in the way of like the story between Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie, that it bothered me because I didn't want her involved, which maybe from an audience perspective that was the
I was
point
gonna
of
say,
her
I think
being
we're
there.
supposed to absolutely hate her because I despised
But
that
I was
woman.
just like, oh, can we like get her off the screen? She's not bad acting or anything. I was just getting frustrated by it. And I mean, up until the final like 5 minutes of that movie, like she is integral in that film and
Hmm.
like fully, she almost playing like chess master towards the end of
She
that
is.
movie.
She's pulling all the
Yeah,
strings with the husband, um, all the main characters.
yeah.
I don't want to say anything else. I don't want to spoil anything.
So let's talk positives then.
Okay.
You just give me your positives. Like, what did you love about the film? Like, what was great?
Um,
I know you loved a lot, but what were some of the big
I was gonna
ones?
say everything. I loved. We already mentioned just the scenery where
Hmm.
it takes place.
Absolutely,
Um, the way the weather plays a role in the film, like they do a lot with like rain and the fog.
they do.
Um, it's just beautiful to watch, even if you care nothing for the storyline. I think you can find like beauty in both like estates and the grounds and all of that. I think the casting was really good. I know it got hate because I guess it's different in the book, like their ages or something, but I think their chemistry was so good. I loved them both as actors. Um, the kid versions of them were also
Hmm.
so good, and I usually am not a big fan of most like child portrayals of people in films. I think usually it falls flat, but I thought they were both so
They
good.
were.
Um,
The throwback childhood characters. The male Owen Cooper's the actor's name. He won like last month. He won the Golden Globe for best actor in like a limited series drama because he was in adolescence at
yeah,
Netflix that won like everything. And so it's good to see him getting some more recognition via like having roles in film. And he played, I mean, he was in the movie a decent amount.
yeah. Poor kid. He's always has a rough time where he is.
He's good at it,
Yeah, I was gonna say he's
acting
good at
wise.
playing sad, rough, emotional boys. Um, I love the romance of it. I was definitely like on the edge of my seat, like the will they, won't they, and then second half of the film I'm on my seat because you just feel like something bad's gonna happen or people are gonna get caught. And I won't say anything more than that.
Yeah,
But overall, just I loved it. I thought it was beautiful to watch. I loved the storyline, and I bawled my eyes out.
you did. So did like everybody though. I think every girl in there was
Except you,
crying
yeah.
except for me. I kind of had an idea going into it that there was a tragedy component, and that's all I'll say to that, which
Hmm.
I think kind of helped with my emotions. I also think to touch on a positive or something that we haven't mentioned because we're not trying to spoil anything. The ending of the film, although yes, the tragedy piece is the back end of the film,
Hmm.
I thought that the director nailed the last like 10 minutes of the film. Like genuinely, I thought it was so well done. That was like that's story and
Yeah.
that's technical. Like I don't go into films like, oh, these are great camera shots. Like that's not where my mind goes. However, like it was very noticeable what she was doing with the camera, and I loved the throwback components to it.
Yeah. Like the childhood
Like they were bouncing,
flashbacks to now back and forth
and the
was,
camera work was the same, and like on purpose. Like the
yeah,
scenes were the same, two different times, same characters, two different time periods,
very
and
different
very different
situations.
situations, same camera work. And it was shot, I felt like, very beautifully and told very beautifully. And
Hmm.
yes, told very tragically. But at the end, when you know it's over, I can sit there and be like, yes, like I thought that the ending was very well done, and I can appreciate
Yeah.
how it ends. And from my understanding, that is also similar to how the book ends, which I know the director also like did not do everything just based in the book. Like she changed the book up or the movie up, did not follow the book close,
Correct.
near not nearly close to a T, is what she said in interviews.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've heard
Yeah,
consistently. I
so
also like to touch on what you're talking about. There is a good amount of foreshadowing in the
there
book,
is.
in the movie, now looking back, now that I know the ending. So,
Yeah, and that always happens,
well,
right?
of course,
Yeah.
but there's some pretty obvious stuff that they talk
They
about.
from the
So,
very beginning they do. I mean,
yeah,
it's frankly, this is a romantic tragedy, and tragedy is in all caps, and the romance is there. Don't get me wrong, but it's not nearly as strong. Like it's strong, but
it's
like
very
it's
strong.
strong, but like this is this is a tragedy romance. Like
Yeah.
it plays big into this movie.
Well, I had no idea before I went, so I think everything caught me off guard in the last like 20 minutes of the film. Um,
But actually, yeah, the film was great.
yeah,
It was very very good. Like I very much enjoyed it. Probably just based on the talk, let's say I'll creep into the eights for
good.
now.
Come join me.
Yeah, I'll join you. Not in the 8.5. I don't think I can get that high, but the ending alone, I really enjoyed. So I felt like it's. I think it's bad. I don't know any of the ratings things, which is great because I think they're borderline dumb half the time. So like
I'm glad you didn't look because you
they
say
yeah.
they're dumb, but then sometimes it still
Well, it
influences
definitely
things
it
for you.
influences where your brain goes.
Yeah.
Like you go into a movie with a preconceived notion that oh, this movie's 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, like so it's gonna suck. And then you leave and you're like, that doesn't suck. But going into it thinking, yeah, this isn't gonna be very good, and then I like that's not fun. Like I don't want to do that for myself. So
So
I've
fair.
I've worked hard on not spoiling things for me or having ratings known going into film, and this is one of those I didn't see anything. And if I had to guess, I would say you and I are probably higher than most.
I mean, I looked it up. I can tell you what it's at.
Oh, go for it.
It's like a 63 on Rotten Tomato.
That's pretty low.
Yeah.
So
I think it
like
was a 6.3 on IMDb, so they're like the same.
well, typically 6.3 on IMDb. I mean, yeah, I mean it'd be interesting to see what people say, but a lot of the times I think it's probably more like some plot holes in a storyline and like stuff like that, and that's okay. But again, like if you just go into a film to enjoy it, I feel like we do, like we both left that and we were like, yeah, that was good. It was enjoyable,
Hmm.
and we, you know,
I will say, going into these rankings, because I know we still have to do that.
mm-hmm,
Um, all of mine don't look.
I'm not.
Um, all of mine are from an enjoyment standpoint and not a
Oh yeah, I
technical
mean
standpoint.
minor and enjoyment. I can tell you right now, my number one is like a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
And like
Like,
I don't care because I love it.
yeah, like no one come at me for my list
Yeah.
because I'm being very
No.
honest about
Let's
these.
let's just jump into them. Like so, let's jump into the list. So I asked Hannah like last week, come up with a list of your 5 favorite romantic movies.
Hmm.
That not doesn't have to be technical, just like pure enjoyment standpoint. Like 5 romantic movies. It could be a rom com, it could be a tragedy, it could be a drama, whatever. Come up with those 5 romantic films, rank them 5 to 1. Maybe have a couple honorable mentions depending on if you just can't narrow it down to 5. And then we're gonna go through our movies. So we'll do honorable mentions first. Then when we go through our list, we'll each do like our number 5, and then we'll each do our 4, each do our 3, each do our 2, each do our 1, and we'll
Yeah.
do it that way. When we mention our film, like we'll just talk a little bit about it, nothing crazy, because we got plenty of these to talk about, and we're already, I think, at a half an hour. Isn't that crazy? We're already at a half an hour. Well, minus like 5 minutes because I had to cut stuff because of my dogs, so
Yep.
our dogs. So honorable mentions first, and we're gonna knock those out of the way. For these, you can just run through your honorable mentions,
Yeah.
and then you can just briefly say something if you want to, and we'll go. We'll move on.
I'm ready. So my honorable mentions, Mamma Mia, 1 and 2, the whole franchise, they're just fun.
Yeah,
I love the music. Just a good mood movie. Moulin Rouge. I don't
oh,
think you've seen
I
that.
haven't.
Again, another musical. The music is fantastic. You kind of feel like you're on drugs when you watch it. Not that I would know, but it is one of those movies. Thought it was so weird. Kind of hated it the first time I watched it. Then I like watched it again, and you just like come to love it. Ewan McGregor's amazing in it. Titanic, it's a classic. Can't Buy Me Love, young Patrick Dempsey.
You love
It's
him.
a great movie. It's like one of those really cute, like old school rom-coms. And then 10 Things I Hate About You, another classic.
That's crazy. That's not in your top 5.
Yeah, no, it did not make the list, but I still love it.
The amount you,
Heath Ledger's so good.
the amount she talks about 10 things I hate about you. That's crazy to me. That's not in your
It
list.
is not, it didn't even come close, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I
Wow.
know.
So you gave what, 5 honorable mentions there?
Yeah.
Hey, I also have 5. My honorable mentions. I said I did put an animated film in here. I put Beauty and the Beast in here.
Oh, that's fine. It's a
Yeah.
romance.
It's one of my favorite Disney stories. Obviously, it's all romantic. Um, but I just love that movie, and so that I had to put in there. But that would be number 10. Anyone But You,
Yeah, I thought about that one too,
the new
actually.
one
I
from
really
like
liked
last
it.
year with Glenn Powell and Sydney Sweeney. A little bit recency bias, probably, but again, pure enjoyment standpoint. All the ladies can enjoy staring at Glenn Powell, and all the men can have enjoy staring at Sydney Sweeney. And also, I think the story's kind of fun, and it's just a classic traditional rom com. But hey, I
Hmm.
thought it was pretty good. Um, Crazy Stupid Love is a classic.
I don't think I've seen it.
Oh, that's crazy.
I know.
So that's a classic. So that almost cracked my top 5. 13 going on 30. I'm shocked you didn't put that in there. Maybe you have it in your top 5.
We're just at honorable mentions.
That's a crazy 13 going on 30. I think that's Mark Ruffalo. I
It
mean, you love
is.
Mark Ruffalo, and then
I
I feel
do.
like I had to put a Nicholas Sparks in there, and I always talk about how much I enjoy Ryan Gosling on this podcast, so I put The Notebook.
I'm surprised you didn't put the last song. Don't you like
I
love that
haven't
movie?
the last song. I don't think I've seen that movie. No, Safe Haven.
That's the one that you
Yeah,
like. Sorry,
Safe Haven's
different one.
great. So Julian Hutt and oh, he was married to
Josh Duhamel,
Fergie. Yeah, Josh Duhamel.
something like that, I think.
All my friends, we love that movie. It's actually not that good of a movie,
I know, but I'm surprised of all the Nicholas
but
Sparks one.
all
That
my
isn't what
friend
you
group,
picked.
like in high school or whatever, when it came out, like that's all we watched. I don't know why we loved Safe Haven as much as we did, but no, I did not pick Safe Haven. I did pick The Notebook. Rachel McAdams. I love Ryan Gosling. I've been just glazing the heck out of Project Hail Mary that comes out next month, and that's him. And so
Yeah,
The
you're just on
Notebook.
that kick right
I'm
now.
on that kick, but The Notebook's great. It's Nicholas Sparks. I mean, why not? So,
Okay.
all right, number 5.
Number 5. Do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
Twilight.
You know it's crazy. I didn't even think about Twilight.
I love Twilight. The whole
Just the whole
series.
series is in
The
this?
whole. No, I
Like
didn't
no,
put
like number
them.
5 is the whole series.
Yeah, we'll count that. I just said Twilight because it's the
Do you
first
have a
one.
favorite? Oh, okay, the original.
Eclipse is probably my favorite.
Okay.
Um, but Twilight's just the classic. Like you love it, you hate to love it, love to hate it, whatever your vibe is. I mean,
It's got some of the worst acting I've ever seen in my
that's why I
life.
said don't come at me for the quality.
Oh,
The video quality is terrible. The acting is not great, especially in the first one, but just the classic storyline. That is like my
that's
comfort movie.
I get it.
Once a year, I feel like I have to watch that series, and it just makes me smile every time.
We committed. It was probably 5 years ago at this point,
Hmm.
or I agreed, I guess, and I watched all of them with you.
Yeah,
in a row.
that was the first series we watched together
Yeah,
when we moved in
it's
together.
probably the worst we've watched together.
Rude. Well, it's on my top five.
I mean,
So
that's
what's your top
again
five?
enjoyment. Titanic's number five for me. For outside of it being like a very good film, um, the romance piece hits heavy, and again, tragedy strikes at the end,
Yeah.
which I don't know why, like some reason like that style of romance film. And I know like
More
most,
emotion.
yeah, and I know most don't go that direction. But again, like Leonardo DiCaprio is great, and he's a young version of himself in that film. It's such a long movie. It's also a James Cameron movie, and he like I mean, he's done like four movies in 40 years because he's done Titanic and then he's done Avatar 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
So like it's taken him forever, but Titanic is a fantastic movie and obviously a huge romantic piece to
it's
it.
great. It was my honorable mention.
I'll
So,
do four.
okay.
I put The Proposal with Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock in here.
Hmm.
Um, this I just like this was always on TV.
Yes, it's
So I
always on
always
TV.
watched it as a kid, or not a kid, but I always watched it when it was on. And for some reason, I just thought it was a ton of fun, and I would watch it right now if it was on the TV. Not a big Sandra Bullock person, but
I
she
was
was
gonna say
big.
I don't like her.
But she was big in this time period when this came out,
Yeah.
and so I'm a big Ryan Reynolds person. So um, it's a fun, slapstick romantic comedy movie, and I enjoy it. So it's
Okay.
four.
Love it. My number four is 27 Dresses.
Yeah.
Katherine Heigl, James Marsden, which as Nick knows is my absolute favorite
Yes, he
actor.
is.
I love James Marsden. And it's just like the such a cute, fun storyline. Like she's always a bridesmaid, has all the dresses. Um, James Marsden's amazing in it. He's just so cute. And the Benny and the Jets song in the bar. Do you remember that when they're
I
singing
do.
it?
I do.
Um, it's just one of the best scenes ever. It's just like again, it's just so fun. And anything with James Marsden, I'm here for.
I definitely thought you'd put that in your list.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So you can do three. We'll kind of snake it.
Okay. Number three, A Star is Born.
Oh, I saw this like when I was kind of doing some research. So
Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper. I really had never paid much attention to Bradley Cooper. Everyone talked about him.
I love him.
Yeah, and everyone raved about him, and I was just like, whatever. And then I saw this movie and I got it. Um, I again, tragedy,
Hmm.
right? Like it is the ending absolutely gutted me. Another movie I went into with zero idea what it was about. I actually saw it in Spain. It was in English, but I was abroad when I watched it. My friends and I all saw it after school one day. None of us left the theater with dry eyes.
Hmm.
The
I mean, I'm
music,
sure.
the music's incredible. Their chemistry is so good, and the ending is just like
Hmm.
heartbreaking.
Hmm. I'm telling you, there's something about a romantic tragedy that just people love.
Yeah. And recency bias right now, but I could see Wuthering Heights taking that place depending on
That is
how it
recency
settles.
bias, maybe.
I know, that's why I said
Yeah,
it depends on how it settles, but I could see that creeping up in my top movies depending on how the rewatch goes.
I get it. That would be another. It'd be one to watch again for sure. Wuthering
Yeah.
Heights would be. You made me watch A Star Is Born when you got back from Spain, and then I was like, yeah. I mean, everybody. I totally understand why people cry at the end of this film. Like it's
Yeah, especially in my
unbelievably tragic.
profession.
It's
Yeah.
more tragic than the one we watched today, and it.
This one hit me harder and I don't know why.
I think it's. I don't actually know why.
Because I would have assumed the other one does with my job.
Yeah,
I'm a counselor.
yeah. I don't know. Interesting.
But
My
yeah.
my number three is Jerry Maguire. Tom Cruise plays a sports agent.
Hmm.
Um, I think Jerry Maguire, from like a romantic comedy standpoint, if you were to solely look at like ratings, which I'm not saying that's what you should always grade everything by, but this is a very well liked, well received, well rated film, especially for a rom com. Because like I swear, like the critics just don't like rom coms. Like they're
Probably not. They're
never
more
rated well.
predictable, you know?
Yeah, and they're just never rated well.
Yeah.
And but I love Jerry Maguire. I've only seen it one time, and I thought it was fantastic. So
I
it
think
takes
I've
my
also
three.
only seen it once, and I kind of forgot that it was a romance. I
Yeah,
thought it was just comedy. So
yeah. And my top two are like, I mean, my top two have. I don't know if they've ever been touched.
that's how mine are. My
So
top two were the easiest things I've ever written
yeah,
down.
I put one and two first, and then I started messing around. And
Yeah.
so, but my number two is Friends with Benefits.
Mm.
Mila Kunis, Justin Timberlake. That's. I mean, I think Mila Kunis is very attractive. We all know that, but I think that's such a fun movie. Um, a little bit of a different rom com, I guess you could say, because of obviously no strings attached, or the friends with benefits. I don't know why I keep saying no strings attached. That's also a
Because
film.
they came out
Also
at
a
like the
film.
same time.
Yeah. So friends with benefits, obviously, because they're just like doing their thing with each other. Keep saying friends with benefits the whole movie. Obviously, you know that that's not how this is going to end,
Yeah.
but it's hilarious. The chemistry is really good, and it's an easy movie to watch, and I'm sure a popular one amongst people. So
Yeah, that's a good one.
thanks.
My number two is Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, I almost put that
Um,
in my honorable mention.
it's just that one's nostalgic for me
Hmm.
because my mom and I watched it probably at least once a week growing up. Reese Witherspoon, also Patrick Dempsey's in it. Um, can you sense a theme?
Yeah.
And Josh Lucas is the main guy, and I don't really know him from anything else, but he's the one you're rooting for in this. It's a telling sign of the movie that Patrick Dempsey's in it, and I'm not even rooting for him.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Your
Uh,
mom's got to like that movie too, then.
she loves that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
she
loves
introduced
Patrick
me.
Dempsey, so
And it's just so good, goes home to her small town
I get it.
and kind of rekindles that love.
I love it.
Ooh, I get to do my
We're
number one
down with our we're
first.
down to our
Okay.
Uno, so go for it.
13 going on 30.
Well, I wondered.
I
I was
know.
like,
It's like, Nick,
where is it? Like,
I know. I was
uh,
like, you're spoiling my rating.
I
Stop.
was like, there's no way this isn't in your list.
No, it is my number one movie. Again, it's nostalgic. It's one I watched all the time growing up. I could probably quote that movie.
Yeah,
Um, my sister Sophie, when she was a little baby, used to like quote it
yeah.
and do the ice ice baby like dance
Oh
scene.
my gosh.
Um, I love Jennifer Garner. I love Mark Ruffalo. And it's just so good. Like Jennifer Garner's so good in that
Yeah,
movie.
she
It's
is.
classic.
That is a classic, and I think mine's a classic. Mine's not rated well, but mine is so fun.
Okay, let's hear it.
It's Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Ah, that's a funny one.
Everybody should.
That's
I
a funny
mean, if
one.
you know me, you know I love that rom com. Also, Mila Kunis is in that too.
Isn't that Jason Segel?
Jason Segel, Kristen Bell. It takes place in like Hawaii, which
Yeah.
doesn't hurt to stare at all time. That is a great film too. I love Forgetting Sarah Marshall. You know what's there are some rom com or romances or whatever that like I couldn't put on my list that I think a lot of people would because I haven't seen them.
All the classic
Yeah,
ones, I
like
like
When Harry
don't.
Met Sally, like I've never seen that, so I couldn't put something like that on the list.
Yeah.
And so, but Forgetting Sarah Marshall, like screw the rating system, screw all the critics, I don't care. That's one of my favorite movies in general.
Yeah.
There's a nostalgia piece, of course. But when it comes to like rom coms and romances, like that is the one of, if not the first one I thought of. I also almost put 51st Dates on mine with Adam Sandler and
I
Drew
hate
Barrymore.
that
I know I
movie.
didn't do it, or and Jennifer Aniston. I did not do it because of that.
That is triggering for me.
I know that's why I didn't put it on my list.
Speaking of movies from my childhood, that is one that my whole family would watch because it was on TV
Yeah,
every weekend,
I
and
didn't
I
put it on my list.
despised it.
I She's Out of My League is one that I used to watch on TV
I
all the
haven't seen that
time.
one.
It's nothing special, I can tell you that. But those are just other ones. But yeah, so our lists were great. So I had Titanic, The Proposal, Jerry Maguire, Friends with Benefits, and then Forgetting Sarah Marshall to round out my top five. And then you had
Twilight, 27
that's right.
Dresses, A Star is Born, Sweet Home Alabama, and 13 going on 30.
Honestly, that's a great list. And so we'll see
And
what
ours were all different. I
ours
liked
were all
that.
different, and we'll see what people think who has the better list. I think you have the better list,
I think my list is pretty great.
but I like my list. But I think
People could hate my list though, because they're definitely not quality, like
yeah, but
in the same
everybody's
way.
gonna love Twilight. That's on there, like, oh my god, Twilight's great. I'm like, could have put Star Wars. Like, what about Anakin and Padme? Like,
You could have put Star Wars.
I
That would
know, but
count.
I didn't. So before we wrap up, because we are oh my long, and that's awesome. I mean, that's what happens when you have a guest. So you did not know I was going to ask you this question,
Uh-oh. Okay.
so I'll give you time to think as I talk. Okay.
Okay.
So last episode, I started talking about this whole concept that if you eliminated a scene from a movie or a TV show, how big of an impact could that have? Or flip that, if you hear a movie or a TV show come to your mind, what's the first scene that you think of when you
Okay.
hear that? Because then that essentially could tell you that might be that scene that if you took it out, the show or the movie would not be the same. So, for example, like one of the things I said was like for Star Wars, like the whole Luke, I am your father scene.
Yeah.
If you removed that from Empire Strikes Back, it's the obviously that's a huge portion, and still to
Yeah.
that day, like or still to this day, it's a massive um, quote, I guess you could say.
Like Jack, I'll never let you go from Titanic or
Yeah,
whatever, or like the flying on the
right.
edge of the boat.
So like if you could think of like a TV show and movie, that maybe you can just start with like ones that you love or just one that you love,
I have an idea.
and then oh, let's hear it.
Um, the one that came to mind immediately when you were talking is from Sweet Home Alabama, which is number 2 on my list. And because it's done twice, once as kids in the
Hmm.
movie and once as adults in the movie, and they're in the rain on the beach. And he goes, "Why'd you want to marry me anyway?" And she goes, "So I can kiss you anytime I want." And that is the iconic scene, right?
Yeah,
It's them as little kids, not really knowing what life is, and then them as adults, like reconnecting. And I think that
I
line
love
right
it.
there is it for me for that
I
movie.
love it. It's a good answer. Well, look at us.
We did it.
We're all done. So that's that. This is a long Valentine's Day special. I guess we could call it
There
special
you
because there's
go.
a guest. So this is not coming out on Valentine's Day. Obviously, it's being recorded on Valentine's Day. This is going to come out on like the 16th, 17th, 18th range. I don't know yet. Um, and you know what? I don't know what the next episode is either. So this is the 17th episode. I don't know what the 18th episode is going to be. That is TBD. Um, but of course, thank you to Hannah
You're
for being
welcome.
on
Of
the
course.
podcast today. It's the first guest of the show. Hopefully, there will be more going forward. Obviously, I think it'd be nice to have your father on the show
Oh,
with
he'd
the
love
amount of
it.
movies he watches. And then I think like even somebody like James or people who any of them. Like I think it'd be fun to have us two and James and Gabrielle do like a round table of like Oscar related things as we all watch these movies.
Yeah.
But I think this was a fun like first episode to have a guest on because we did a movie review
Yeah.
and we did like a ranking as well, which is a lot of fun. So thank you for being on.
Of course.
And thanks to everybody that's either listening or watching or however, which any way, shape, or form you're
Yeah.
interacting with the show. It's actually kind of been now that like the YouTube started and the TikTok started.
Yeah.
There's actually people like watching and listening and interacting, so that's really cool. And I don't like that's not why I started this. So I just was doing this to have some fun, and now I feel like people are kind of paying attention, and now I'm like, let's keep running with this and see where we can go. So thank you for all of that. Of course, on YouTube, I think the last video had like the first comment ever, so I responded to that. So leave the likes and the comments and all that fun jazz and subscribe to the channel. Follow the TikTok page. It's all slushy and film related. I just dropped a TikTok literally with a slushy in it.
Yes, you
So
did.
thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And of course, I'll see everybody next time.
Bye, guys.